Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, happy haunts materialize around the resort, sit-down restaurants expand beverage selections.
News on Fantasmic, some welcome changes for dining reservations. We talk about Teresa's experience at the Mouse Meet and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Howdy, partners. For your safety, remain seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast. And be sure to watch your ears. If any of you folks are wearing hats or glasses, best remove them, because Tag and Teresa have the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of August 3rd, 2023. I'm Teresa Urban.
And I'm Lynn Barron.
Thank you to Marie S. and Allison B. for becoming official weekly tiers on our Patreon. Our supporters get some pretty fun perks like DL Weekly swag, bonus content, and access to our Discord community. A special thank you to Sarah R., Kristen M., and Derek J. for your continued support. If you would like some more Disney magic in your day, head on over to dlweekly.net/support to join.
It's that time again for our friend Eric over at Concierge to catch us up on other Disney news.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Johnson with Concierge, and welcome to the D180. While Lynn and Teresa cover all things Disneyland in the D180, we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. Let's jump right in. We start our journey in Papenburg, Germany at the Meyer-Werft shipyards. We don't normally start here, but that's what the teleprompter says, so I have to read it. Oh, yes, it's because the Disney Treasure, Disney Cruise Line's sixth ship, is well on its way to seaworthy status at the shipyard. The first steel cutting ceremony took place back on January 19th, part of a long tradition in shipbuilding that dates back to when wooden ships sailed the seas. The ship really is coming together in the latest updates. The bridge was the final major component installed a few weeks ago. Now the builders are adding interior walls, windows, and all of those great Disney embellishments. The latest announcement gave us statues at the stern, that's the back end, to accompany Aladdin on the front. That's the bow, I think. Peter Pan, it seems, has taken the paint used to create the Disney Treasure logo and doused Captain Hook with all of that paint. These two continue their chase in two statues affixed to the stern, the back. I think I'm getting this. The Disney Treasure will have very similar design to the Disney Wish that set sail last year. Look forward to its first booking sometime in 2024. Well, hey, let's head on over to the Tokyo Disney Resort for that newest fad that I found out about way too late. It's Mickey Long Bread. This has been hitting the socials since May, but the young people I trust to tell me about cool things did not do so until this week. Enough already, you shout. Get to the bread, you say. Mickey Long Bread is apparently a long piece of bread with butter and salt flavor. It is shaped like the silhouette of Mickey Mouse when it is viewed as a long piece of bread, but when you cut a slice, you have a Mickey-shaped slice of bread. You can buy it at Tokyo Disneyland to be enjoyed at home. That's kind of it. Though there are some recipes included, I'm pretty sure I can make some rad French toast with it on my own. But wait! There's more Mickey-shaped food to discuss. Mickey fans at Disneyland Paris can purchase sandwiches at the newly rethemed Cable Car Bake Shop with buns in the shape of Mickey Mouse. This Main Street dining location recently reopened with a menu featuring many new dishes featuring cheese and also Mickey buns. Mickey-shaped buns, I should clarify. Shaped like his silhouette, not, yeah. And hey, while you're in Disneyland Paris, dream of their new Frozen-themed land soon to open. Bob Iger recently visited and gave the thumbs up on this new land. If you want even more Frozen in a land, you'll have to head to Hong Kong Disneyland. The park's Imagineers recently boasted about their nearly complete land that will be the biggest Frozen-themed land in any Disney park. Take that, Disneyland Paris. Hong Kong Disneyland aims to open their land first as well. It will include a new version of Epcot's Frozen Ever After and a roller coaster called Wandering Oaken's Sliding Sleighs. Dining and merchandise locations round out the land, but the pictures we have seen of construction suggest that the decor will be its biggest asset. Get ready to feel like you're in Epcot's Norway Pavilion on a grand scale, or, I guess, Norway. And that's 180 seconds. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you would like to learn more about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over. Visit the social media and websites of both DL Weekly and us, their official travel planners, concierges. We look forward to planning something special for you and yours. I'm Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
Thanks a lot, Eric. I wanted to say thank you for allowing me to be a part of the show for the past, 6 weeks, I believe. Right?
This is week number 7.
7. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much. It's been fun.
Of course.
It's been great. I've heard from some of your listeners, which are kind of some of ours, I guess, on the sweet spot. But yeah, it's been great. It's been fun.
It's been a fun collab.
if you like what I do and you want to hear more, you can always go to the sweet spot because there's always room for another podcast.
Of course. Especially more Disney podcasts, right?
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, now let's get to the news.
Well, we have some updates regarding Fantasmic. Disneyland has announced that the show will return spring of 2024. When it returns, they have promised new magic, but they have not promised the return of the Maleficent dragon. According to Mice Chat, cast members have been told that there will be some changes made to the show, including a, quote, thrilling new finale between Sorcerer Mickey and Maleficent, end quote. They were also told that, quote, although the dragon figure won't be part of the show when it returns next spring, there will be plenty of exciting new special effects to wow our guests, end quote.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's kind of, I feel Disney is being intentionally vague, which makes sense. A lot of people think this is the end of the dragon figure going forward forever and always. I don't think so. I think we'll have a dragon again. I just don't think they're committing to what, when, or how just yet.
Right.
But I am curious about what the new magic is going to be that they're adding to the show. Yeah. And the interesting thing too is the new finale is still between Sorcerer Mickey, but it's and Maleficent. So as in like the human Maleficent, not the dragon version of her. So I'm curious what that looks like. That to me sounds much better than my fears of it being in B mode with the mist screen forever and ever and ever for the dragon.
I was going to say that. I thought that's just what they would do, but they're very vague.
Yeah. I feel like if it was only going to be the mist screen, they wouldn't be putting it off all the way to spring of 2024. So
true.
I'm very curious about this. I need more information because this is a touchy subject. It's always going to be too soon to talk about Murphy and her very sad demise. Yeah, because she was incredible, absolutely incredible, and it's just really hard for me to wrap my head around the show without a dragon figure. I get that it can't be, that we need to make some changes. Totally get that because we want to make sure the cast members are safe, the guests are safe, and that the dragon is safe. I totally get that. But she had a good run. She was I think 10.
Oh, okay.
So
it could have been a lot worse. What happened? Oh yeah. So luckily that was all that happened. But I can only imagine how long it would take to rebuild something like that.
Well, and I was talking with a listener while at the Mouse Meet this weekend, and I kind of said this because we don't know, it's backstage, right? How do I say this the best way? The only way that I can think to phrase this is we have no idea if the carcass of Murphy is still underneath that stage, because that was a big figure that I feel like would take a lot of time to dismantle and get moved out of the island. So that's the other thing too, is they may have just made it so that they could close the stage door back up again. Because as you remember, it was maybe a few days, maybe a couple of weeks that they had scrims up because they couldn't get her all the way back down under the stage again. So I almost wonder if they still have some cleanup work to do.
Yeah.
In addition to then figuring out, what's going to happen for the future. So it's still very sad all around, but we shall see.
I was surprised not until spring, but in a way, I guess with the holidays coming up, there's already a lot going on. Yeah. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost there. The smokestacks have been installed at Tiana's Palace, along with the towering smokestacks. The restaurant sign has also been installed. Disney has not confirmed an opening date for this dining location, yet active construction is still going on in the interior and kitchen. I will
admit I was skeptical about this change because I didn't quite see the need for it, because it was all, it seemed like they were just gonna associate an IP with an already great dining location and not really change too much about the location itself. The more I see with the decor, though, they're winning me over, because it looks pretty awesome over the construction walls right now. There's tons of the popcorn lights. The Tiana's Palace sign looks really nice and fun and elegant. The smokestacks are very ornate. So it feels, it's looking and feeling more like it's like more of a blessing than what I was feeling from the concept art.
And what do you call that in between the smokestack, like the cabin, captain's cabin, or where they drive the
wheelhouse?
Wheelhouse, yeah. You can see that, and that looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I think it's gonna look so cool at night. That's what I keep thinking with all of those lights, is how cool is this gonna look at nighttime? It's gonna be a really fun place to hang out, I think.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that will be great.
With all the lights, it'll be nice.
So they haven't said when. They don't like to say opening dates anymore. But,
no, they don't. Until we're pretty close to it. That's usually when we get it. Because I mean, it makes sense, because how many times have they announced what the date's going to be, and then things happen as they do. So then it doesn't happen, so it gets pushed out and all that stuff. So it's So I get it. Even look at the tree house. I feel like we've kind of had, and there's been things that's like, oh, spring, but then it doesn't happen until the end of summer, or that sort of a thing.
Something's holding that up, because they've built all of DCA in shorter time than the treehouse.
Yeah. Speaking of the treehouse, I did not put this in the art or in the news for the week, but did you see it appears that the new water wheel has been installed?
Yeah.
It's still really under a clear tarp, but if you look at photos that have the light hidden it just right, you can see the spokes, I guess we'll call them, of the treehouse, or of
I'm excited.
The treehouse water wheel thing. I'm really excited about seeing that in action.
Yeah, for sure. Probably before the holidays, I'm guessing. All that'll reopen.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, to celebrate the release of the Haunted Mansion movie, a new sipper has materialized around the resort. I may be a little biased, but the Hatbox Ghost Sipper looks pretty dang incredible. The price for this grim grinning ghost is $32 and can be found at select locations around Disneyland. Have you seen this thing?
I have, and I've been tempted to have someone try to get one for me, but I just think, what would I do with it? I don't know. I don't have a lot of room.
You would look at it in amazement and wonder and awe, because it looks like... I don't know. Last week I got all excited about the popcorn bucket that's the railroad, because I thought that was so cool. And then they hit me over the side of the face with the Hatbox Ghost. Come on. I mean, I have Elliot's back there. I was geeking out about Elliot so hardcore, because he looked, I mean, that was the must get. I didn't think I was going to be a popcorn bucket or sipper person, but they're just... There's so much more than that. If you didn't know these things, actually, if you didn't know that the intention of some of these was to be a popcorn bucket or a sipper, you would have no idea. And I think that's why they're so cool.
Yeah.
But I know, I keep thinking, I'm like, do I need to send a call out for help for someone to see if they can snag me one of these Hatbox Ghosts? Because I I don't ever know if I have a favorite ghost. Like, I think it's hard for me to pick favorites of anything, but he's definitely, like, he's just such an iconic part of the mansion. And the fact that he had such an interesting past of being there the opening day. I think he was there for like a week and then he disappeared. And then it was kind of this whole, was he there? Wasn't he there? But you could see him in like poster art and concept art and stuff. So it was this whole, and then they brought him back and he's cool. Like, man, we won't get into it. But have you seen the Haunted Mansion movie, or have you not seen it yet?
I have seen it, yes.
You have seen it.
Yes.
We won't get into it on the podcast because we want to keep everyone spoiler free.
Yeah.
But what was your overall thoughts?
It was fun. Yeah. I think I was wondering that when I got home, I thought because the best part about it was trying to see all the little, I guess you can't really call them Easter eggs because they were pretty plain sight. But
like the little nods.
Right. That was the best part about it because, my wife and I were like, oh yeah, look at that. Look at it. But if you weren't a fan of Disney, you go to Disneyland every 10 years or whatever, and you just kind of a casual, I don't know if you would get a lot of that. And I don't know. That's why I was curious.
That's a good, okay, so here, I'll tell you this. My parents went to see it. Oh. They are becoming bigger park fans because of me. But there was a time that my dad was kind of like, if I don't go to another, like, I've kind of like a been there, done it. I've gone to the Disney parks. I've gone to the Disney parks a couple of times. I feel satisfied. I don't, but they went and saw this movie before I went to see it, and they were really excited about it. And so that made me happy because they're more of, compared to us, we're like the diehard crazies. They're more of a casual parks, they're a casual parks fan. And so they've really found enjoyment in the film as well. So I guess that's a good thing because that means the storyline itself was strong enough to carry the movie. And the Easter eggs or all the little nods are just like the whipped cream, and it's more than the cherry on top because there's so many little nods and hints. But we'll have to discuss off air what you thought of some of the stuff. But I was really happy with it too.
No, it was good. I'd like to see it again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. It was one of those movies that as soon as it was done, I don't get this very often, but as soon as it was finished, I was like, I got to see that again.
Yeah. Well, great. The Happiest Haunts guided tour is returning this Halloween season. Guests will get to experience chills and thrills on this 2-hour walking tour. Highlights include a history of Halloween and tales specific to Disney, expedited access to Pirates and the Caribbean, reserved viewing for Halloween screams, and a guided tour pen, a Halloween treat, and a photo op with the hitchhiking ghost animatronics from the Haunted Mansion. Ooh.
Come on, how does that sound? If that doesn't sell this tour.
So they're going to take you in the match?
So remember, during Halloween time, the hitchhiking ghosts they're booted. They are not in the mansion.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yep. So you get to we had a weekly tier, Alex, that did this. Ooh, I think it was 2019 that he did this. And I didn't know, and he didn't know, and he's a huge Haunted Mansion fan, that you got to meet the hitchhiking ghost. I think he only got to meet, I think it was only one that he got to meet. I don't think it was a set of 3, but still, he got to stand right next to the ghosts, and they do a Disney photography photo pass photo, so you get a really awesome photo. Man, I have not talked to Tag about this yet, but I might have to be bothering him because this is a Disney, on my Disney. I've decided I have Disney bucket lists, and this is in Disney checklist. This is probably a checklist item because, it's.
Have you ever done
cool.
any of the other tours, the seasonal tour?
Yes. So last December, Tag and I did the holiday tour.
Okay.
Which was really, really fun. We really enjoyed it. And, we're not big, winter. I'm not that's wintertime holidays aren't my favorite holidays. If, again, I'm terrible at picking things, but I'd probably have to say Halloween's my favorite. So this one, as soon as I read it, was kind of more of a, I have to, I need to do this. But the holiday tour, we really, really enjoyed. It was really fun. It was same thing, a 2-hour guided tour. The nice thing is the tour guide has a microphone and everybody has headsets. So very easy to hear what's going on. You don't have to be like huddled up right next to her because of course it's a theme park. It's very loud. There's lots of people around. But we got to learn a ton of different holiday information during the tour. We got multiple treats while we were like making our way and walking through. I think our ride entrance, the ride that we got to have expedited access to was It's Small World Holiday.
Oh, nice.
And then we also got reserved viewing for a Christmas fantasy parade, which is also really, really cool. And while we were waiting for the parade in our reserved viewing area, we were treated to like hot chocolate, and there was some sort of like gingerbread cake thing, and then they gave us gifts too. It was kind of like,
wow.
Tag actually took a photo of me because I was having like a hard time like trying to like hold all of my stuff because they suddenly were just being super generous. I was like, whoa. But yeah. So anyways, it was really good. My only complaint was I wish I could have recorded it because she gave so many interesting facts and like numbers. She told us how many ornaments are on the tree. I've forgotten now. She told us like how hot the candy cane room needs to be for them to make the candy cane, like all sorts of really, really interesting nerdy Disney nerdy facts that as soon as we were done, I'm like, I feel like I learned a lot, but I also feel like I forgot most of it. But it was still really cool. So anyways.
So did they say how much this tour is? Did you look into it?
I looked on Disneyland, their website. They do not have pricing listed. However, I do think that this week is when these tours start going on sale. So we should know by next week what the cost of this tour would be.
Okay, good. Sounds good.
Well, Disney has announced that 3 table service locations will soon add adult beverages to their menu. In addition to a selection of wines, beers, and cocktails, there will also be some specialty beverages available at each location. The Carnation Cafe will have a Carnation cooler made with vodka, raspberry, and ginger ale. Riverbell Terrace will serve a Riverbell margarita with tequila, lime, and orange liqueur. And Cafe Orleans will offer a Cafe Orleans Hurricane made with rum, passion fruit, orange, and pineapple juices. The new beverages will be available starting in September. I feel like this is a controversial topic because Walt did not want alcohol served in his parks, and for a very, very long time you could only get alcohol at Club 33, as you know. And then DCA came along, had its own set of rules, so you've been able to get
it all.
you've been able to get alcohol in DCA.
Yeah.
Maybe since, I don't know how long, but a long while, maybe since opening day. I don't know for sure, but it feels like forever you've been able to get alcohol in DCA. And then, what was it, 2018, they announced that Oga's would be serving alcohol starting in 2019. Now Blue Bayou was added to that list recently. So what are your thoughts with the rest of the table service restaurants now offering adult beverages?
My first thought was, no, I thought not, and I'm not against alcohol. I drink every now and then, but I just thought, no, they don't need to do that. And then now I step back and I thought, okay, well, it's not like you're allowed to walk around the park with it.
Yeah. It's not DCA where you can go up to a cart.
Alcohol is easy to get anywhere you want on the resort. So it's not going to change anything in that sense. I think it's fine. I think they make the drinks kind of themed too, so it kind of almost fits in where you don't even really notice. I mean, I went to Blue Bayou since they added that, and I hardly even notice that. I saw it, so I don't think it'll be a big deal. At first, like I said, I was, no, they don't need to do this. Why are they doing this?
Nope. I'm right with you. I have the same gut reaction, like, oh, really? But then, like you said, it's readily available in DCA. You can go get alcohol in downtown Disney, and really, it's already available it is available in Disneyland. I think that's the part that my brain had forgotten. Then, again, taking a step back, it's like, well, okay, you know what? Sit down restaurants make sense. Now, if they started having carts in Disneyland, I think that might be where I think that's the line that they can't cross. Or
even selling it in, say, like Rancho del Zocalo and Stage Door Cafe and that kind of thing.
When if they allow beverages to be the walking around with beverages. I think that for some reason, it makes more sense to me at DC. I don't know if it's just the theming, the feel. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't feel out of place to me in that park.
You know what it is, Teresa? It's the Ferris wheel. That's
the
what
Ferris wheel. That makes all the difference.
Because Walt didn't want it to be like a carnival or a and all carnivals have Ferris wheels, and
there you go.
So blame the Ferris.
We'll blame the pal around. But and the other thing too is you have to remember, like, these drinks are themed. They're not the most affordable beverages either, and I think the limit is 2 when you're at the establishment. So you got to bounce around to quite a few sit-down dining locations to really do some damage, depending on who you are, I should say. But
I was telling my wife about this, and I said, it's a 2-drink minimum. She goes, minimum? What? I go, oh, no, I mean max. So funny.
Wrong M word. Minimum,
you have to have 2.
At least 2. But I always just, when things like this happen, I always think of cast members, because of course we have friends that are cast members. You have friends that are cast members. You were a cast member. And I think people don't realize that there are some guests in DCA that do get have a little too much fun with enjoying their adult beverages that do then cause problems for cast members, security guards, custodial. I won't get into details of stories I've heard, but things do happen, even if we as guests have never experienced it. I think that's saying a huge credit to the cast members, because they're waving their magic wands and making it so we don't see and notice, but stuff does happen. So I think of the cast members and hope that this isn't going to negatively impact them.
I will say that I was there when DCA opened and Downtown Disney opened, and I was there before it opened. So it was something that we all discussed in custodial, that, wow, we're going to see, more code Vs and all that. Yep. And
or just unruly behavior.
Right. And we did a little bit, but not a huge amount. But because you still could have went to the Disneyland Hotel.
That's true.
And they had a bar over there.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear from your experience, that it wasn't as big of a thing. So that's right. That's good to hear, because I always just think of I just think of the cast members, because I feel like they've got a difficult job, like a very magical and amazing job, but also a very difficult and not always the most fun job. So I always think of them like, oh, I hope this isn't going to make it less enjoyable for them to do to be the magic makers that they are.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder, I think. Just an update is coming to the app and website to help make advanced dining reservations easier. The update will make it so that a guest will be able to see all available times for the dining location when they select the time of day they are looking to book breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Currently, only some of the times would appear this way, and other times would pop up if you search for a specific time slot. So I saw this today, right?
Yeah,
I think it was posted
what did
today.
You think about this?
I'm still a little confused on it. Maybe you could explain it a little better.
So this is my takeaway and what I was able to understand through screenshots that various news posts had shared. So currently, this is great news for you, Lynn, and all the magical vacations you help people book and help people get these dining reservations, because sometimes it's like, maybe finding a unicorn. It's not easy. No. But so right now, when you search, if you search, you could search for time slot, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, right?
Right.
So if you hit breakfast, say, we're going to look for brunch at Lamplight. That's what we'll do. We're going to look for brunch at Lamplight. So if you hit, I think when you're looking for brunch, it's breakfast. Maybe you can also do lunch, but we're just going to pretend it's breakfast to make this conversation easier. So right now, if you hit breakfast, may or may not, it could show you available times, or it could show you nothing. But if you were to go in and say, search specific times, I'm looking for breakfast at 8 o'clock, I'm looking for breakfast at 9 o'clock, different times would appear depending on how you searched. Why? I have no idea. So sometimes, like, say there's a 10 o'clock slot because it's brunch. Say there's a 10 o'clock slot. You could hit breakfast. It doesn't appear at all. But if you search specifically for like 10 o'clock, it would show.
Oh, so you mean, you know how you, like, it'll say breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then you scroll over and it'll have the times listed. It'll be a little more simpler.
So now if you hit breakfast, it shows you any and all things available in whatever time they define that meal time to be.
Has that started already?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it does not say when just yet. But yeah, so you basically, it's just make it simpler. And it looks like the layout is just going to be easier to read too. So I'm very excited about this.
Okay. So soon.
The other thing you can do is you could do all day too. So you can say all day and it shows you all available time slots. So you don't have to pick breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So if you just know you want to go to Blue Bayou, it'll tell you all of the Blue Bayou time slots. You don't have to specifically say lunch or specifically dinner. It shows you all available slots.
Oh.
So that will be, I feel, a very big time saver, because I know when I've done reservations, I've tried searching every which way, and things will pop up, things won't pop up. You could even do tricks like, instead of 4, search for 5, or, change your party numbers ever so slightly, and you might get different results. Obviously, you never want to say that there's less people in your group than there actually are. No. But yeah, so you it was almost a little bit like, I don't want to say like a slot machine, but it was just, it felt a little random as to how the search engine was actually working. And you could kind of try different little things and then get different results. So it didn't always make the most sense to me. So this seems to me like it's going to be more straightforward than it was.
The one thing I do wish they would fix is they're not consistent on, so I think it's 6 a.m. usually, right? They become available at 7 o'clock here. But so 6 o'clock, but not all the restaurants post at that time, because I was looking for a Napa Rose once and it didn't come up until the next, not even 2 days later, but it was supposed to be on that day. So I don't know if it just randomly, sometimes they'll just, some aren't listed when they're supposed to be on that day. It's just weird.
I've noticed that too. I don't, what the rhyme or reason is, I don't know.
Maybe each specific restaurant,
has a time or something.
Right.
Yeah. Personally, I'm going to sound like an old person, but I understand and like that you can do the reservations, but I also really dislike it because I feel like it makes it, in some cases, more difficult to get into some of these places. And I enjoyed being able to do walk-up stuff. And I wish that I like that Cafe Orleans has a walk-up list, a walk-up waiting list. Lamplight some days has it. Some days it seems like they don't have it. I wish more locations offered that, so that especially people that aren't seasoned and know what's going on can just go to a sit-down restaurant without having booked it months in advance. Because that's the other thing too, is how do I know what I'm going to be in the mood for months in advance and what time I'm going to be hungry for that? So it's just, I feel like it can kind of interrupt the flow of your day having dining reservations. But on the other hand, it's also nice to have your spot secured.
And also think about the regular vacationer who isn't in the know like we are. They don't listen to the DL Weekly or the Sweet Spot, and so they're not. They
haven't
even
heard of concierge yet to help them.
They haven't even heard of concierge, so they just go and they look on their guide and they go, "Oh, that looks like a good restaurant," and they walk over there and they're like, "No, it's been booked for 2 months." So, I'm glad that they have the walk up for that.
Yeah, I'd like to see more. I would like to see more of it.
Although I do have one complaint about the situation. So we made a reservation for last time we were there in March for our family for Carnation Cafe. and they were really busy that day. And they had tables set up. You know where the ice cream next door? There's the ice cream.
Oh, the Gibson Grill.
Gibson, yeah. They had tables like, so they had the little stanchions like for line to stand in line for the Gibson Grill. They put tables like in front of those windows, like so you're actually like in the ice cream place dining. And they put us over there. And then they had people walking in that they were seating inside, and I went, "Hey, that doesn't seem right." So like we paid to eat at that restaurant, not at the Gibson Grill.
And just think of it this way, Lynn. What a unique experience you got to have. Okay. Not many people can say they got sit-down table service at the ice cream shop on Main Street.
Anyways, yeah, it was unique.
Too fun. Well, the rooftop pool at the Paradise Pier, soon to be Pixar Place Hotel, is now opened. This newly designed outdoor space has a pool, water slide, and splash pad for guests to enjoy. The area has a very fun and colorful Finding Nemo design, which includes many of your favorite characters, including Crush, Hank, and more. Have you seen photos of this?
Yeah, it looks really good.
It's so bright and colorful.
Yeah.
Plus, it's on a roof. So that's just, makes it just somehow more exciting that it's on a roof. Yeah. I think this will be really popular with especially the little ones with that splash pad.
Yeah, I'm glad they did something with that because before it was just very generic and didn't have too much theming. But yeah, good.
The Pixar Place Hotel is also another one that I'm very curious to see all come together because from the things, because of course it's been open all during construction recently. So you've been able to see some of the area's transformations, and it seems like there's a lot of details that they put into this theming. So it looks really cool.
Yeah, I've been hesitant to book anyone when I'm doing planning or suggest Paradise Pier to people because of all the construction.
Right. Understandably so.
So I'm anxious for them to finally open it. I don't think they even have a date on that yet either.
I don't think there's an official date on that, specific official date on that quite yet either. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, the hotel rooms, even though this hotel is under construction right now, they do not have construction rates going. It is still the same rate as though it were not under construction. So that's why it's a little kind of if you want to, if you want to stay there or not. So you would be one of the first people to stay in the new space, but it still is being transformed. So
I'm curious.
There's a pool now. There wasn't even a pool a couple weeks ago that was open to guests. So that's a plus. They are still working on the restaurant. The Great Maple. That's not open yet, but it's coming. So there are some pluses.
I always like the little shop over there. It's actually bigger than you'd think for a hotel that size. Yeah.
I can say I've actually never been. So.
Oh, okay. World Princess Week is August 20th to the 26th this year, and Disneyland will have some special things to celebrate. A Princess Bubble Sipper will be available at locations around the resort. The purple pineapple shell macaron will return. And for those who wish to celebrate at home, a Milan tea set will be available for purchase as well.
I think this is fun for those who really, really love princesses. It didn't sound like anything was new. It sounds like the sipper was a return item, and the pineapple shell macaron, they had that when the new live action Little Mermaid premiered. So they had that brief period. It looks really, really cool because it looks like, it's a purple shell, but it looks like it's like a clam opening or like an oyster opening, and there's a big chocolate pearl on the inside with the cream inside from there. So we heard really good reviews about that treat. So I'm glad that that's making a comeback again, just for a limited time only. I kind of hope that they put it on a menu somewhere more permanently because it looks cool. But I think it's fun that they're doing something to celebrate. It seems like there's probably more of a celebration happening in Walt Disney World, more themed treats and such there. But it's fun that they're doing a little something at good old Disneyland too.
Sounds good.
Your attention, please. DL Weekly Trivia is now leaving for a grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom, with stops at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland. All weekly tiers for...
Welcome to Trivia Land. How we feeling tonight? We got some great knowledge in your brains. You ready for some tough ones from the listeners?
Well, I was ready until you said tough ones.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Now I'm a little hesitant, but
they're
we'll
tough
see.
to me as I was reading them and putting them into the spreadsheet, but things that are tough to me are frequently easy to you. So
Well, we'll have to see.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll find out how it goes. All right. Everything listener submitted tonight. Our first listener submitted question from listener Tim J. If you enter Disneyland, go right and go into the first store on the right that's next to Mr. Lincoln. Walk to the back, framed picture gallery / expensive room, and look up. There are 2 statues near the ceiling. Can you describe them and or guess what they have in common? Hint, they are not Disney themed. They're more of a society government theme.
I can confidently say I have never looked up in that room before and had no idea that there were statues up there because I'm too enthralled with the artwork on the walls. So I've got nothing.
Are you talking about the exit of Lincoln?
The room...
That little hallway?
Not that hallway, on the opposite side. So there's like the Disneyana store.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the front part's kind of like the merchandise. And then there's 2 rooms that are more like the Disney fine art kind of space. So it's got all the really cool like paintings and stuff on the wall. The back room usually has a bunch of like sketches of characters and stuff that you can...
Where they have the artist doing something on display. In that room.
Yep.
Wow. I never noticed.
This is a great question.
I don't know. I mean, we could guess a president, or you said political.
Yeah, what did you say? What was
They're not Disney themed. They're more of a society government-y theme.
Yeah, I have no idea. See, I am not the person to ask this question to. I will be very honest with everyone. Tag laughed hysterically at me. We were in the Star Trader recently. This was a recent trip.
Okay.
And I realized that there was like a spaceship, like an X-Wing or something. There's a big spaceship flying up, like stuck to the ceiling, like it's flying around up there. Never had I ever noticed that. There's actually a picture of me kind of doing a like face palm pointing up, like, how have I never seen this thing? It's massive. Nope, never have I noticed that before. And that's got to be way bigger than this detail that I also have missed.
I have no idea. I don't even want to guess.
Yeah.
I
have no clue. Stumped.
Okay, so stumped and stumped. Final answer?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Your second listener submitted question from listener Kavehi S. Videopolis opened on June 22nd, 1985. It took just over 100 days from design to installation, thanks to already used staging elements. Where did Disneyland purchase some of the already used staging elements from?
Man.
Now, I didn't know that they had purchased them from
I'm going to consider this Trivia Land learning land today. I'm going to be learning a whole lot of new information once we get the answers at the end.
I'm trying to think what was going on before that. I don't know.
My random guess was, and I don't even know whose it was, pieces from, set pieces from somebody's, concert tour setup stuff.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's just a random, we're just going to blindly throw the dart at the wall and hope it's somewhere. I have no
Michael
idea.
Jackson. Michael Jackson's tour.
Oh.
I don't know. The Jacksons tour. Because there was an 84 tour.
That You know, you might be onto something, Lynn, since he did have a connection to the park.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with that. It's probably not right. Yeah.
I'm just going to generically say somebody's tour.
Okay.
And you're going to say Michael Jackson's. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So somebody's tour and Michael Jackson's tour. Final answers.
Yes.
Final.
All right. Your third regular round question submitted by listener Donna S. Who designed the Mighty Eye microscope for adventure through inner space?
Who designed the microscope?
The Mighty Eye microscope for adventure through inner space. Who designed it?
Claude Coates? That's my guess. I don't know. It's my first thing that came to my mind, so I'm just going to stick with it.
That's a good one.
Or Bob Gurr?
Yeah, I was going to say, my gut was Bob for some reason. I have no idea. I know he did, like, attraction vehicles, and he did the Omnimover system.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the name that came to my mind first, so I'm going to stick with Bob. Claude Coates is a...
I don't know why it came to me on that.
I don't know.
I'm probably wrong.
I'm looking at my bookshelf with my book about Claude Coates sitting there, and I'm thinking, you know, if I would have read that book that I've now owned for a year, I might have...
There is something in there about it, that attraction. So, yeah, I'll go with Claude Coates. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Bob Gurr.
Okay. That's a good one.
So Bob Gurr and Claude Coates. Final answers.
Final
answers. All right. And your fourth and final regular round question submitted by listener Chris Y. What item was placed below each mast of the sailing ship Columbia, and why?
Oh, it was a coin. But I don't remember which coin it was. If it was a penny or a quarter or nickel. But I could just say a coin, right? Yeah. Or do you want to know which? Okay, yeah, a coin. A quarter, maybe?
And there was a reason? What was it?
Yeah, and why?
Walt placed them there.
And why?
Walt placed them there. I know Walt wanted them there or placed them there, and it was a coin. I don't remember the reason why.
Something like
it's like a tradition.
Yeah,
it's like a tradition
or like a good luck thing, or
yeah, something like that.
Okay, I'm hopping on Lynn's ship there, and I'll also go. I had no idea. I'm
almost 100% sure it's a coin, but I just don't know why.
You've convinced me, Lynn. I think you're right. Yeah, I had. If you made me answer first, I'd have no answer. But since I answered second, I'm going with Lynn.
Okay. So we've got a coin because it's tradition. And
tradition or superstition.
And we've got hitched onto that wagon.
Yep.
Final answers?
No. Sailing that boat.
Oh, sailing that boat. All right. Final answers.
Yeah. Final.
Excellent. And your bonus question tonight, submitted by listener Sarah P. Club 33 originated in Disneyland. What year did it open? Bonus points if you know the exact date.
Well,
Pirates opened in 1967. They were building it when Walt passed in 1966. I'm going to go with 1967.
I'm going to go 1968. You're going 1967?
Say 1967, yeah. I don't know the date.
I'm going to go 1968.
July 17th, 1967. I don't know.
All right. So we've got 1968 and July 17th, 1967?
Sure.
All right, final answers.
Final.
All right. Well, listeners, how did you do listening at home? How do you think Lynn and Teresa did? Stick around until after the discussion topic, and we will all find out together.
Well, for this week's discussion topic, Lynn and I are going to chat about my time at the Pacific Northwest Mouse Meet. I just got home Monday night. The event itself was this past Saturday, July 29th, and it was so much fun.
Oh, good. Yeah. I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah.
You know, from my friend Russell. He's always talking it up. And then on Mousetalgia, when they were in full swing, they always talked about it, and they were always up there. But I didn't know that much about it. I had never been. So I'm glad you were able to go.
It was fun. So for those of you that have been listening for a while, back on episode 276, we had Don on, who is the host from the Pacific Northwest Mouse Meet, and he was telling us about this really cool, fun fan event that he and an awesome group of people put on every year in the Pacific Northwest, specifically in Linwood, Washington, which is just north of Seattle. So, I mean, I think it was only like 20 minutes or something. It was real close to Seattle. It was so much fun, though. Like, I can't get over it. I was telling Lynn before we started recording that it's if you're going to talk about Disney fan events, of course, everybody's heard of D23 and that gigantic awesomeness, crazy weekend. D23 is amazing, but D23 is just massive. There's no possible way you're doing everything at D23. Yeah. Just a very, very large expo.
Overwhelming.
Yes. Yeah. And that is hosted by the Disney company. And then the other one that I have personally attended, Lynn's attended as well, is Disneyana, and that's a smaller fan run event that also is hosted in like Anaheim area. And I want to say they typically do a spring event and a fall event. At least the last 2 years they've done a spring and a fall event. Tag and I have been fortunate enough to go to 2 events. We went to spring of 2022, and then we just did this spring 2023, and we plan to go fall of 2023 as well.
Nice.
When more information, we've got the dates, we just don't know who the presenters are yet, but we're really excited. And that one, what we really love about Disneyana is it's much more small and more intimate and just more relaxed feeling, especially compared to D23. Well, I would say Mouse Meet, if those are your 2 like points on the scale, I guess, it's a little bit bigger. It's bigger than than Disneyana is, but nowhere near as like extreme as Disneyana. It's a nice in between, I guess would be a good way of saying it.
Okay.
So for this event, they had 3 people that presented talks, and then there was activities throughout the day. The event started, the doors opened at 9 a.m., but the first presentation wasn't until 11 a.m. There was charity raffles that opened before that, and there was shopping, and there were things to do before the first presentation. Yeah, it was really cool. And even before the event day, the cool thing was they get a room block at a hotel room, and this was at the Embassy Suites in Linwood. That hotel, cool. So cool. It is a 5-story hotel.
Yeah.
And instead of it just being like hallways and rooms, once you walk past the lobby, there's this just ginormous atrium. It almost feels like a hotel's water park kind of a thing. It's just this big, huge, wide open space. And from there, you can see all 5 levels of the hotel. Every room basically has this like balcony thing in front of it. So you go up the elevators, there's like this catwalk thing to get you from one side to the other, and you just have this like, it's like racetracks for each level, and everything looks down into this atrium. The one side, the right side, was where the Mouse Meet event itself was being held. The left side was where like their breakfast area was. They also had a bar, a restaurant. That is kind of more of a mixed space. But so the hotel itself was just super cool. The rooms, very large. We got a single bedroom, was a king size bed, but when you walk in, you have this big, nice seating area. There was a separate door to the bedroom portion. The size of it was almost more like 2 standard hotel room sizes.
Wow.
Kind of mushed together. So tons of space, which was in this. If you're wondering why I'm talking about the hotel room layout, it comes into play later.
Okay.
But one of the fun events that they do is they kind of have like a mouse mingle event on Friday night. This year the hotel did a special themed buffet. It was an Adventureland themed buffet that you could pay to be a part of. But the highlight of the evening was they do these door decorating contests. Now, if you've been on a cruise ship, the people decorate their door. This had nothing. This had nothing on the cruise ships because these people had more space to be able to put their displays out. There was things that were interactive. I want to say there was probably like, I didn't count, I should have, I'm going to say between like 20 to 25 doors that were decorated. Some were just like really nice and really more more simple, but really well done. We didn't do anything, so everybody was doing better than I was. But then other ones, some of these were crazy, just like crazy interactive. You know, these people worked on these displays for months, if not like the year leading up to this event, sort of a thing.
And this was a contest?
This was a contest, yes.
Okay.
There was a first, second, and third place winner that was announced at the mouse meet, and it looked like they got a goodie swag bag full of stuff. But some of the rooms, I'm just going to kind of quickly go through. There was a room that was Indiana Jones themed, so they had this big painted mural that they then put over it was a door, and then there's this big window, so they put it over this giant window, and then on the door itself they had all sorts of different things in hieroglyphs, and they actually had like little decoder cards, so you could sit there and decode the little messages on their door. Super fun, interactive. Wow. There was one that I kind of was right across the floor from me, so when we opened our door, we could see them kind of working on it, but it was Alice in Wonderland themed. They had a big, what looked like a tree coming up the side of their door with a branch over the top of their door. Cheshire Cat, of course, is perched on top of it.
Wow.
They had like these mini Mickey Mouse topiaries set out in front that half were white roses and half were red. They had the little brushes like they were painting the roses red. They had the bread and butter flies. They had the marmites, which are those funny little two-legged creatures. Yeah. And then this also had like goodies. So not only was this decorating, a lot of these places also kind of turned it into like trick-or-treating in a sense, that there was like little goodies. So they had, what all did they have here? There was Tweedledee and Tweedledum Dum lollipops.
Right.
They had, so that was their little eat me, take me. There was this little activity sheet, and then they had little bottles of water for drink me. So I feel like I'm not doing these doors justice in describing them, because they were just
it sounds amazing. Yeah.
Some of the rooms were kind of down these little side hallways, and there was this one that it was all about quotes, and they had tons of different prints of different Disney movies on the walls. There's this really nice display with this beautiful picture, the picture of Walt in the fire engine at Disneyland, parked in front of the castle with Mickey Mouse. That classic picture. They had that blown up on the wall with these really nice lights on the back, and then they had a bunch of Walt Disney quotes around it. Well, that was not all. They then invited you into the sitting room of their room, and they had a game. You spun a little wheel, and it was all about Disney quotes. And so depending on what color you hit was either like, finish that lyric, finish the quote, what movie's the quote from, who said the quote, all did kind of different categories. And then they had all of these tiny little buckets of popcorn, and each bucket of popcorn corresponded to whatever the color was. And on your bucket of popcorn was a little envelope with your question, or your partial quote of whatever it was you're supposed to do. And they were tough, because trying to figure out who said it when you're just reading words on a card is much harder when you're not like in the same like space of what's going on in the movie. So it's very so it was really well done. And I think the thing that was coolest about it was it was what I'm going to assume was the grandmother was outside of the room kind of chatting with people and inviting them in, but then it was her two grandkids that were running the game, and they were so into it. And these were like young teenager kind of aged kids, and they were just having a blast with it. They were also super kind. If you needed a hint, they did provide hints if needed as well. So that was super cool. Wow. There were doors that had what looked like fireworks displays going on. Somebody built the Small World facade with moving parts, so the clock was going back and forth, and just incredible. There was a Minnie Mouse themed door, which one of the things you could pick up as your little treat were actual like Mickey or Minnie ear headbands. They had like little treats there too. There was a Jessica Rabbit and Roger Rabbit themed door, and they were giving little like kiss candies away for their thing. There was the Muppets Electric Mayhem was a theme. There was a couple of Winnie the Pooh doors. There was a really cool Haunted Mansion themed door that they had all of these headstones that they made that are sitting in front of our door. And what they did was they etched on on each of these headstones previous guests of the mouse meet. So all of the people that had gone before that had presented at the mouse meet. So I thought that was a really fun tie-in.
That's pretty neat.
Another Winnie the Pooh one that these people, they constructed a big tree stump. They made a beehive that had bees that were actually like buzzing and spinning around it. There was a speaker inside the trunk, so it sounded like Pooh was talking from inside of the tree. Wow. I mean, just incredible. Like, I can't even try and begin to wrap my head around how much time and talent these people put into these. They were phenomenal. And just us walking around and enjoying all of these displays, it took us a couple of hours because they were just that detailed that you spent time really standing there admiring the display. Some of the displays, the people were at the part of their display, and so that you could talk with them, and it ridiculously cool. Just crazy cool. I do not envy the folks that were the judges. I think the judges are Don, and then maybe like, different people that are involved in the mouse meet. It's not like it was, you got to vote, which I'm okay with that, because I don't know who I would have picked as the winner, because there were so many that were just so good. So if you were one of those people that decorated your door, huge shout out and kudos to you, because I mean, it was incredible. So that takes us then to the next day when the mouse meet actually started. So one of the activities that you could do prior to the first talk was they had games. There was a bingo card that they gave out to everyone, and then there was this, they called it like a hidden Mickey's game. So the bingo card was a really fun like icebreaker game. So you had people sign your different bingo squares. You were trying to get a blackout before you could turn your card in. But it had squares on it that you'd go around and ask people, have you done these things? And they could sign one of those squares for you. So there was things on there like their DVC member has had a turkey leg, ate 2 churros in one day, has ridden the Skyway buckets that had been from Fantasyland to Tomorrowland, dined at Club 33. So there was some common things, and then there was also some very like unique things. So that was really fun, and people were having a good time, going around and chatting with each other, trying to get their bingo cards filled out. It also resulted in a lot of fun stories about maybe whatever the experience was that went along with whatever they were signing for the bingo cards. And then the hidden Mickeys were just that there were a bunch of hidden Mickeys that had trivia questions, and they were kind of scattered throughout the convention area, if you will. There were some in the hotel lobby, some in the area where the shops were set up, some where the food was set up, kind of all over the place. And they were really fun because, again, I took a picture of only one of them. Some people were much smarter than me and just took pictures of all of them so then they could sit and fill their card out later. I just walked around and was filling my card out as I found them. But the one I took a picture of was, who is Ray's romantic infatuation in the Princess and the Frog movie? Evangeline. So anyway, so that was fun, because then that was another great conversation starter, because people would be like, oh, have you found where Mickey head number, there were 16 of them, Mickey head number 5 is? I can't find where that one is. Or, maybe somebody have a question and you'd help them with figuring out the answer to whatever it was. So I thought that was a really fun, interactive, good way to kind of fill time if you weren't somebody that wanted to check out the shopping area, or, it was just really fun.
So the hotel really embraced this whole event.
Yeah. Okay. The hotel staff that day were all decked out in either ears or T-shirts. They were wearing Disney gear during this.
That's cool.
The other thing that's crazy, too, is the hotel even allowed them, they had special bathroom signs placed in front of the bathroom. So the women's sign had a silhouette of a mermaid, and the men's had like a silhouette of a pirate on it. And those were signs that the mouse meet had done and brought and posted up. They had, so it was, if you were at that hotel staying there for some other reason, you may have been a little confused, because mouse meet totally took over the space. Took over the space, and the hotel was there for it. So they clearly have a very good relationship with them. And that in and of itself, there were banners that they had hung from all of the different levels of the balconies in the atrium, they had projections on, there was like these arches on the atrium. So they had these projections up on those arches. There was a waterfall that they were able to project a screen onto. So there was stuff playing on the surface of the wall that was behind the waterfall. I mean, amazing. They had like monorail cutouts that somebody hung along the balconies on the outside. There was skyway, it was a people mover. That's what it was. People mover cars that they hung. I mean, crazy. That's cool. It was crazy. Like, just so much setup and prep that was just above and beyond just just the presentations and stuff like that. It was just wild.
So the actual event, was it 2 days? Or was it...
the actual event is just Saturday. It's just the one day.
Okay.
Friday night's kind of a bonus. And then I'll get into Sunday because they had a couple special events Sunday that you could participate in as well. But the event itself is truly Saturday.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so the people that were presenting were, it was interesting. It was a good mix of people. We had Michael Vargo, who is he's a VP at Disney, probably best known for being like the head of D23. He's also involved in other things like the archives. He did a really, really awesome presentation about fan clubs through the years. So he worked with the archives and got all sorts of different images and videos and put together this whole presentation. And it was actually really, really fascinating. I didn't realize how far back Disney fan clubs dated, and I didn't know like the history about them. So I thought that was a really, really cool, really fun topic. I also need to give him a shout out because he was a last minute addition. There was supposed to be someone else, Jeff Pigeon from Pixar was supposed to come and present, but he had to cancel at the last minute. And so I believe Michael only agreed to do this a week before the event. So he pulled this all together very last minute and delivered a really amazing, really informative presentation. And it was like being at D23, Lynn, because at the end of the presentation, he had gifts for everyone, which how he had gifts for everyone with having such a short time to plan what he was going to do for the event is beyond me. But everybody there was gifted the new quarterly magazine for D23. And he said it was hot off the press, so it was like brand new, and it was the cover art features scenes from the Haunted Mansion movie. And then there was also a collectible pin set that everybody was gifted, and it was a D23 specific pin set that everybody was gifted as well. Like, this was such a tight turnaround for him that these items arrived halfway through the day of the presentation, because that's how tight of a turnaround he had to get all this stuff out. So I mean, incredible. I could not thank him enough for that was a lot that he did for these Disney fans, and I just think that's so cool. So
that's nice.
There was that. We also heard from, this will never cease to amaze me, we heard from Caitlin Robrock, who is the current voice of none other than Minnie Mouse. Voice actors are fascinating to me. Listening to someone speak in their regular voice and then just flip in instantly or someone else is just amazing. Like, I don't think I will ever get over being wowed by that, because that's just it's a talent that I can't wrap my head around how they do these things. So she shared her story as to how she got into voice acting and how that eventually led her to become the current voice of Minnie Mouse. So that was really fun. And of course, she was there as Minnie and as Caitlin, so we got to kind of meet both sides. And again, just listening to her flip into the Minnie Mouse voice and, talk to us, because she was asked questions like, well, what are what's your favorite phrase to say, or do you have a favorite phrase, or whatever. And so when she first came on stage, had her Minnie Mouse voice going, and then she also ended the presentation with it too, as well as some sprinkling in between. But it was just incredible. She shared that she was working on the voice, because it's not just can you mimic the voice, it's if you're going to be the voice, you need to be the voice. You need to know exactly how this character says everything, what the inflections are, what the emphasis is, all those different things. Plus, these characters sing too, as well as just speak, and they're all that stuff. So I think she said it was 14 years that she was working on this, and out of respect to the current woman who was voicing the character, she was working on this all in secret. And so, so it was just wild, because you want to be respectful since somebody is, it's somebody else's character at that point. But she just really, really had a passion and desire, and just really, really wanted to be this voice at some point. And so she did it. I think she said she's only been the voice for, it was either 4 or 5 years. She made her debut at the D23 Expo in 2019. So
okay, just
incredible.
I was going to say, I wonder if she was the voice in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
She was. So we did have signings. So we did get to chat with her one-on-one, and we didn't. That would have been a great question. I didn't even think about Mickey and Minnie's Runaway. I'm going to assume that was her. I don't know for certain, but I'm going to assume that was her, because she said that part of her job is it's everything, anything and everything that Minnie's voice is lended to. She's recording that. So we're talking like merchandise, theme parks things. So whether it's like a fireworks show or a parade, the little lines that they say in the parade, and commercials, commercials and the cartoons, and it just so many things. But one of the really interesting thing was when we were in line waiting to have time with her to get the autograph, one of the listeners that I was waiting in line with has an Apple Watch, and her Apple Watch, it has Minnie Mouse on it. There were 2 weekly tiers, and they both had Apple Watches. They both had Minnie Mouse as their face. And so the weekly tier behind me was like, I really want to ask her. She's like, I wonder if this is her. Like, if this is her voice on my watch. Like, is this your voice on my watch? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So Caitlin listened to the first one and was like, oh, I can't tell if that's me or if that's Rusi, who was the voice actor before her. She could not tell the difference between if it was her or not. And so she was kind of like joking, like, ooh, like, I feel like she was really impressed that even she couldn't tell the difference. And then the weekly tier behind her played her watch, and she's like, oh, nope, that one is Rusi. The first one was me. And so she's like, when did you get your watch? When did you get your watch? What versions? Da, 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 da. And so anyway, so it was very, very cool. So I thought that was just incredible.
That's neat. Yeah.
I was just looking, the woman before Caitlin, it looks like, according to Wikipedia, had voiced Minnie Mouse from 1986 to 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for over 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So the woman that was the previous voice of Minnie Mouse, had done it for 30 years. So Caitlin was really talking about how, Rusi had really been the one that really developed the character and the personality of Minnie Mouse. And so she was just talking about how it was just such an honor, and how she was very fortunate to have met her a couple of times, because Caitlin was actually a cast member at Disneyland prior to, she was doing voice acting, yes, but she also had worked at Disneyland, and it was kind of an event similar to how you met the Sherman Brothers, where there was a special cast event that Rusi, the voice of Minnie Mouse, had gone to, and she got to meet her at that event, and then there was other events in the past too. So anyways, it was just very, very, it was very cool. Very cool. But neat. Like, I just couldn't get over that Caitlin had practiced had been practicing and perfecting this voice for so long. So I just thought that was really, really quite the impressive story. And then the final presenter of the day was former Imagineer and Disney artist Eric Robeson, who is probably best known for his art, and that's really what the discussion was focused on. One of the really big major things he did was for Walt's 100th birthday. Disney contacted and had him create 100 Mickeys. And so any stylized painting or artwork of Mickey Mouse, more than likely is probably Eric. He had really fun stories of how he went transitioned from Imagineering into doing the artwork. Marty Sklar was his boss when he was in Imagineering.
Oh.
And Eric would tell this story much better than I would, but I'll try and to do it justice. But he basically said that he was doing all these paintings and this artwork. He was a concept artist for Imagineering when he was there, but he was working on all these characters, and he just really loved them, but really didn't know what to do with them. And so he got this idea that he was going to surprise Marty with them. So after Marty had left for the night, he went and talked to his secretary and said, "Hey, can I?" And it was like 5 paintings. He's like, "Hey, can I put these in his office? Like, I made these for him. I want him to see these, whatever." So the woman looked, she's like, "Oh yeah, those are really good." And so she let him in. He set them up. He's like, "I just kind of set them up over that." So there's like one in Marty's chair. There was they're just kind of placed in random places. Yeah. And so the next morning he got a call from Marty, or no, not from Marty, from the secretary. And she basically said, "He's really mad. You better get down. You need to come down here and you need to get this, take these away. He's really, really mad." So Eric's kind of like, "Oh no, did I just shoot myself in the foot? Am I fired?" This whole big thing. And so Marty did scold him. It was just like, "What, what the heck? But then said, after he kind of had his stern talking to and, told him, do not, how dare you, kind of a thing. He then kind of looked at him and said, "Well, since I've seen these, they are very good." And so then that somehow evolved into Eric becoming one of the artists that had his work featured at the Disney Gallery, which of course used to be above the Pirates of the Caribbean queue there. So he was, I think he was at the Disney Gallery for 10 years and eventually was doing so well with selling stuff at the Disney Gallery that it came down to, do I want to keep doing this kind of on the side and also continue at Imagineering, or do I just want to pursue art? And so he made the decision to pursue art. He's worked with Disney many times. He said that some more of his recent Disney collaborations that the company contacted him for was artwork for the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. So there was 100 Mickeys, but then after 100 Mickeys, there was a 50 Donalds series that he had done, 50 Donald Ducks. So there's all sorts of different things that he's done with Disney since, plus things that he does, just on his own as well. But super cool guy. He also was doing signings, and he donated a couple of sketches that he just was doing in the in-between time when people were, when we were all attending the other talks and presentations. He just had this big giant sketchbook and a Sharpie and just was going to town sketching. He sketched the castle. Beautiful. Yeah. But the one that, of course, caught my eye is he had this just stunning Sharpie sketch of the Haunted Mansion, which included, a graveyard in the front. And, of course, it was the Disneyland mansion. It was just amazing. Those both were in... Well, the castle was put into, there was an auction, or a drawing, a raffle for, that was benefiting Ryman Arts, as well as I think it was the Seattle Children's Hospital were the two places it was benefiting. And so one of the lucky person that won the castle just happened to be a weekly tier. I was just beside myself. He was standing next to me. They called the number and he yelled, mine or whatever. And I looked at him like, "Are you serious?" It was just super cool. So I'm crazy excited for him because it was amazing. The Haunted Mansion piece ended up being everybody that completed the bingo was given a raffle ticket, and they did a drawing, and that's where the Haunted Mansion piece went. So anyways, it was super cool. But some of the other highlights of the day itself was there was a 2-hour break for lunch. They had a themed buffet. It was a Main Street theme. So they had fried chicken and, the more kind of Main Street things. The biggest thing was the fried chicken. There was biscuits, cornbread. Anyways, delicious stuff. But another thing that I took advantage of doing is they had a free ink and paint booth set up. So you could go over, and it wasn't entirely the same as how, Disney does it, of course. But they had cells that you then used paint marker pens, and you got to do your own type of ink and paint on a cell. So that was really, really cool. So I spent the time and did that, and the day was just full of so many amazing Disney people. Not only just the presenters, not only just the people that put on the event, but the fans that went there. Everybody was super kind. I thought it was incredible. There was probably about a dozen or so DLWeekly listeners that I got to see and hang and meet for the first time. So that was really, really cool. And so anyways, we had just a blast, just an absolute blast. We had go ahead.
You know how you'd mentioned it's like D23 and Disney. So was there like a vending area, and how many? How many?
There was a vending area, and I would say in the vending area, it was a good size. It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't D23 size, nor was it Disneyana's show and sale. They have they have their kind of their day that's all the presenters and stuff, and then they have a separate event that's the show and sale that's the following day. So their show and sale is very, very large. The vendors there, it was, I'm going to say like 8 to 10.
Okay.
So it was a good amount. It was a nice variety of things, but it wasn't overwhelming. So it was nice. It was very nice.
Okay, cool.
And then both Caitlin and Eric were available anytime that there wasn't a presentation going on. Eric and Caitlin were available to sign autographs, and they were selling merch and stuff like that. So that was really cool. So I'm now the proud owner of Minnie Mouse's signature, as well as a former Disney Imagineer's signature.
Oh, very cool.
One of the fun things was Mouse Meat provided like autograph cards. And so you could, both of them were very kind to not charge if it was going to be on that autograph card, and they both allowed photos too. So I have a photo with Eric. I apparently was in too much of a whirlwind, and I forgot to get a picture with Caitlin, so I do kick myself for that. But her line was very long, and we had a very short time before the first session started, so it was kind of a quick. So I didn't want to take up too much time, but she was fantastic. So maybe I will run into her again and get my photo with her at that point. But yeah, anyways, very, very awesome. That evening, we had a little Patreon meetup for DLWeekly members. So we went to dinner at a local tiki bar. It was the North Shore Lagoon. It was called Nui, I think is how you pronounce it. It was super, super fun. So a group of weekly tiers all went out for dinner and tiki-themed fun drinks. They had, of course, like alcoholic, but they also had non-alcoholic fun-themed drinks as well.
Nice.
So that was really fun. It was just a group of 6 of us that were able to make it. And I mean, we didn't leave there until like 10 p.m. So I get it. For the people that weren't able to make it, it was a long day, and we made it even longer going to the tiki bar. But the fun didn't stop there. The next morning, there's a Disney outlet that's probably like 25 minutes north of where the convention was. And they had a special shopping event open only to Pacific Northwest Mouse Meat attendees. You did have to sign up ahead of time. They had 2 shopping slots before the store opened, and they had a ton of merch. So we went on Friday just to check the store out, bought a couple of things, and then went back for the event because we heard that they were bringing in a bunch more merch. And holy cow, did they. Like, at least half of the store was different merchandise from when we were there 2 days before. So tons and tons of new stuff. Really great deals. Plus, it was fun to be in there again with just a bunch of Disney fans. And then after that, D23 had a special screening for members to attend of the Haunted Mansion movie. So that was really amazing, too, because, first of all, the only D23 events I usually get to attend are the Expo, because living out here in the Midwest, we don't really have many D23 events. And if we do, it's in Chicago, which is 6 hours away from where I live. So not as easy for me to get to some of these events. So we made it a point to stay and do it. So I think tickets were only $14 and included popcorn with the ticket, and we each got like a little movie poster from the movie. Michael and his family members were there, so that was really cool. We got to see him and chat with him some more, and then just being in the theater full of diehard Disney fans watching this film dedicated to a beloved attraction was just really, really amazing. So that was a really cool, really fun experience, and like the perfect way to just kind of end the weekend and kind of just top it all off. But it was so much fun. Lynn, you need to go. You need to figure it out. You need to go to the Mouse Meet. For those of you that are interested, the Mouse Meet is a yearly event. So unlike D23, you don't have to wait 2 years to go. It happens every year. I believe, so this is the first time they held the actual convention and the event itself in the hotel. That hotel, though, has always been the hotel that they've done the room block at with the door decorating contests and everything. So I thought it was really cool to be able to stay right where the event was happening, because we could I could just run up to my room if I needed to. Vern actually ran a marathon that morning, so he was able to take a nap and then come down when he was feeling more refreshed after running 26 miles and joining on the fun. Yeah. So it was wild. I highly recommend it. I'm going to have to try and figure out how to talk Tag into going, because I know he would really love it, but I think it might be something he and I might be adding to like our to-do list calendar of events of things we don't like miss. I know there's too many and they're all good. I know. I don't want to say that's a problem, because it's not. It's amazing, but it just makes it hard to be able to go to all of them. But it was so much fun. So huge shout out to all the people that presented, all the people that volunteered to put this together, and a huge shout out to Don for being the host and, helping create this amazing event so that all of us Disney nerds can enjoy it and get to see, do, and I mean, it's just incredible, because like Disneyana, it's just a more relaxed atmosphere. So you can easily approach and chat with the people that are there presenting. Never in a million years did I think I would be like hanging out with the voice of Minnie Mouse or the president, the VP of Disney. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's just really incredible. And they were all so kind, so kind, and huge Disney fans themselves. I was talking with Michael Vargo, and he was like, we love the Mouse. Like, he didn't think it was that big of a deal for him to come and present at the Mouse Meet, because they enjoy attending that event themselves, because he and his family are just big fans as well. And Caitlin's a big fan, and Eric's so it was just super cool. Super cool.
Wow. Well, that's neat. Yeah, I'm glad you're able to go. My friend Russell, he's been going for years and years, and he's told me about it, and now it's fun to hear your perspective, because I know how much you love this kind of stuff. So,
I do. It makes me want to like move. I told Vern after when we were coming home, I was like, I need to move over to these places so it's easy for me to get to these events, because we have nothing like that in the Midwest. Yeah. And he's like, well, why don't you start? I'm like, no. I am not starting. I like attending the fan events. I don't think I want to. It's a ton of work, and I would like to enjoy the events. But anyways, so it was amazing. Super amazing.
Oh, good. Very good.
Well, Lynn, since this is sadly the final week that you are going to be with us on DL Weekly, because Tag returns next. I cannot believe it's been 7 weeks. I cannot believe that I'm picking Tag and James up at the airport in less than a week. I picked them up on Monday. We're recording this on Wednesday. So I just can't believe it. I was talking with Tag. I'm like, how has it already been 7 weeks? And that's how I feel with you. It doesn't feel like we've already done our 7 episodes. So
I know
Tag will be back next week, which we're very excited for. It'll be awesome to catch up with him and hear all about his crazy, amazing European adventures. But Lynn, I just want to give you a huge shout out and a huge thank you for stepping in and filling in and helping me keep DL Weekly going. It would not have been nearly as interesting hearing me sit here talking about all of the fun, cool events all by myself. So I super appreciate you coming, sharing your time and your talents, your stories, all of your amazing stories that you shared with us from your time at the parks. Awesome. So appreciate it. You don't even understand. Like, it was really kind and really amazing of you to step in and hang out with us for the past 7 weeks.
Well, I was flattered you asked me to do it. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Maybe we'll do it again sometime.
Maybe. You never know.
It's okay. I'll be the only weekly tier without an answer. Make sure you send your questions to Producer James or Producer Vern at trivia@DLWeekly.net.
Welcome back to Trivia Land, where we're going to find out how they did tonight. Lynn, Teresa, how do you feel about tonight's questions and your answers?
Yeah, not great.
No, not.
I'm feeling bad for Lynn since this was his final trip to Trivia Land.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh,
for now.
I wish you had told me that before I chose.
You hit him with a doozy. Well, it was a rough road.
The listeners.
It was a wild ride.
The listeners hit him with the doozy, not me. Well, let's find out how we did, shall we?
Yeah.
Your first listener-submitted question tonight from listener Tim J. If you enter Disneyland, go right. Go in the first store on the right. That's next to Mr. Lincoln. And you walk all the way to the back of the framed picture gallery / the expensive room. And you look up. There are 2 statues near the ceiling. Can you describe them and or guess what they have in common? Hint. They are not Disney themed. They're more society / government themed. Your guesses were stumped and stumped.
Yeah, they're great guesses.
The correct answer that I was looking for, and pictures were provided. They are statues of Lady Justice and the Goddess of Fortune.
Okay, that makes sense.
They're in opposite corners of the room.
I could see that, I could see that fitting. I'm gonna have to pay extra close attention.
And they're both kind of a bronzed look to them.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay extra attention next time I'm back there. Take my focus off of the amazing art and pay attention to the decor.
Well, they're still amazing art, just a different type.
Yes.
And higher up. Yes. Mm-hmm. Your second regular round question, submitted by listener Kavehi S. Videopolis opened on June 22nd, 1985. It took just over 100 days from design to installation, thanks to already used staging elements. Where did Disneyland purchase some of the already used staging elements from? Your guesses were somebody that was already on tour and Michael Jackson's tour. The correct answer that I was looking for was the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics facility.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
That was a big deal. I lived in that area during that. Okay.
I mean, I think we had good guesses.
Yeah.
I mean, you were right track. Wrong facility. Yes.
All right.
Yep. And your third regular round question submitted by Donna S. Who designed the Mighty Eye microscope for adventure through inner space? Your guesses were Bob Gurr and Claude Coates. The correct answer that I was looking for was the Imagineer, George McGinnis.
Oh.
The microscope itself was 12 feet high and 37 feet long.
Dang.
It's a big microscope.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a microscope.
But yeah, I was going to say.
I'm here for the rest of the night. And your fourth and final regular round question submitted by Chris Y. What item was placed below each mast of the sailing ship Columbia in Disneyland, and why? The correct answer, or your answer that you submitted, was a coin of a penny or a quarter or some denomination placed under the mast due to a tradition and or superstition. The correct answer that I was looking for was a silver dollar. According to Joe Fowler, Disneyland's construction supervisor and a former Navy admiral, he informed Walt that it's a tradition that sailors would pay tribute to Poseidon for safe passage.
Oh.
So I gave you that one correct. Right? I gave it to you correct because you were off on the denomination, but you had the overall concept. You knew you knew what you were talking about. You didn't. Denomination. Yes, so you were right that it was a coin, and you were right on why. So yes,
awesome.
Yes, so I gave you correct on that one. Yes,
we got one right.
Woo!
Yep. And your bonus question tonight from listener Sarah P. Club 33 originated in Disneyland. What year did it open? Extra bonus points if you know the exact date. Your guesses were 1968 and July 17th, 1967. The correct answer that I was looking for was June 15th of 1967.
Nice job, Lynn.
Well done, Lynn. Two correct for you tonight.
All right.
Not bad considering that lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was tough for me. I didn't know how tough it would be for the two. I mean, the microscope through adventure through inner space, that's one that I had no clue, but I was looking at it going, oh, they probably will know this. Just because I have no idea. But you do that to me a lot. So.
Yeah.
Well, listeners, how did you do listening at home? How do you feel about how Lynn and Teresa did? Do you have that perfect question that you've just been dying to submit so that you can hear it on the air? Well, if you've got that question and you'd like to hear it, feel free to send that in to us at trivia@dlweekly.net.
We'll be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us. And we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.